Hey, folks. Hi there. I'm really excited to be talking to you today about the um, the attraction plan again. Okay, I happen to be like listening to this other training, and I'm gonna have to leave this meeting. Um, okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about what makes me and my perfect customers tick. And first, what I want to say is, if you're watching this, thanks for coming. I'm trying to open my kombucha. Thanks for coming, and please put in the comments that you're here. Okay, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching by video later, please let me know that you're here, um, so that I can know you were here. How about that? Um, so, what makes me and my perfect customers tick, or what makes me and my soul tribe tick? So if you were here last week, or there's a live somewhere in you can check out, you don't actually have to do this stuff in order. You can check that out later. Um, you learned about the attraction plan. I've learned about the attraction plan in 2001. It was created by Jan Stringer in a book called Attracting Perfect Customers: The Power of Strategic Synchronicity. That is, planning to have synchronistic events. That's what magical marketing really is based on. And this it's very soulful. It's There's things that came up for me when I realized that this was the way to do marketing, using universal laws of attraction and vibration. Um, I realized that if you were going to be attracting people based on vibration, it was all about authenticity. And it's all about sharing what's most important to you to attract the soul tribe of people who love everything that you do, because they're aligned with you on the soul level. And so the key part of the attraction plan, where you reveal your soul, is in this, by answering this question: what makes me and my soul tribe or my perfect customers tick? So it's a strange little question. What makes me tick is really, you when you understand that what makes me tick is what makes my perfect customers tick, i.e., what's at the core of my soul is what's at the core of my tribe, then you understand that sharing that soulfully is sharing your essence honestly, being vulnerable enough to share what's most important to you is exactly what is going to attract your tribe. So I remember when I first really got this, um, because I've been using the attraction plan since 2001, and it was in 2006 that I finally really got this. When you share what makes you tick, it is the deepest thing. It is the most attractive thing that you can share. I was at a retreat with Jan and 17 other people, Jan and Alan, from Perfect Customers Inc. And the question was, what makes you and your perfect customers tick? And Jan was going and coaching each person on this, and they would say something like, "What makes me tick is helping people with their trauma," or something like that. Well, what is important to you about that would be the follow-up question. What is important to you about that? And the person would say, "Well, I really love it when I can help people not suffer so much." And Jan would say, "Well, what's important to you about helping people not suffer so much?" "Well, I really love it when I see their face like they got 20 years younger in my presence. I love that. Well, what do you love about that? And so it just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into why they do what they do, why they're even here on this planet. And when they would get to the core, of what it is really at the root of it all, like when I got to, it's about love. It's about loving humanity. It's about helping people share who they really are in a way that attracts people who get them. Like for me, that was like the core. I want people to feel gotten and seen and loved. That was so compelling. We would be going through this process with everyone to go deeper and deeper and deeper until they hit the essence of who they were. And several people would have like tears in their eyes. They were so inspired by this process. And I thought, this is it. This is the brand. This is what we want to share. Because there's nothing more compelling than to hear the truth from somebody about what they're doing here on this planet. Because I'm just telling you, it's not easy to be here. It's not easy. What are we doing here? It's not all fun and games. Fun. I don't even think fun and games are enough to keep us here. But our purpose, our soul's purpose, that's why we came here to begin with. And when you are able to clarify and express your soul's purpose, your people are gonna recognize you. Maybe not everyone. Maybe it's a tiny percentage of people that see your message that are going to get that. They're going to be like, most people are going to be like, what? I don't know. I don't care. And I'm just going to move on. But that tiny percentage that does get you, they're going to be like, whoa. I've been waiting for this for my whole life. I need to connect with this person. I don't even know what they just said. I just know that we're aligned. And I'll tell you, that happens with me a lot because this is what I share. People come up to me or people write me or whatever, comment on my stuff. Thank you. This is exactly what I needed to hear. I've been praying for you. I asked my guides to send me somebody and I know it's you. Those kinds of things are what I hear all the time. That doesn't happen when you just share the thing. I'm selling this program. Okay. I make websites. Alright, that's helpful. But just saying I make websites is not it. I don't want to just do websites. I want to do websites for people who care about what it is that they're doing in the world. They're not just selling hot dogs to make a buck. They're doing something that has real meaning to them, and I want to help them clarify what that meaning is and get that out to the world. So this is a part of that. This is like the beginning stages of that. What makes me and my soul tribe tick? Now, I think it's a saying in Texas or something, what makes me tick. I don't know. I hear it more often now because I teach it, but when I first heard it, I was like, what does that even mean? I think it comes back to a clock. What makes a clock tick is its inner workings. What are the inner workings of you? What is the point of attraction? So Abraham Hicks talks about a point of attraction. What is the point of attraction between you and your soul tribe? What is the point of attraction between you and your soul tribe? This is like a magnetic, vibrational thing. But I'll tell you, like I said, it's not about mass marketing principles. It's not about shrinking down or simplifying or any of that stuff. It's about real truth. The truth of who you are. And if you haven't been asking, who am I, this is a good time to start. What's most important to me, to my soul, right now? What's most important to me and my soul right now? I'll tell you, my soul has been telling me lately, this is about helping women in particular to identify what their legacy is, what their wise woman legacy, that is, what have they learned, what have they experienced, what have they studied, what have they mastered, how do they put that all together, and then share about that with the world in a way that's lasting. In a way that, for instance, it's in a book, and that book could fall out of the shelf 100 years from now and hit somebody in the head, and they'll open it and read it, and they'll get something from it. That's what makes me tick. That's what is most important to my soul right now. What's most important to your soul right now? When it feels too hard to go on. Sometimes the other day I was mowing and I was thinking, God, if this is what I have to feel, I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe I'd rather die than feel this way. I was feeling really heavy that day. I did hear from a psychic that sometimes our oversoul takes some burden from another life that we're having in another quantum reality and takes that burden and puts it on us when we can handle it, and lets us deal with it for a little while, transmute it, and then puts it back when that other life of ours can handle it. I like that idea. It makes it seem less pointless, all the suffering that happens. It's hard not to suffer even if you are doing very well. If you're healthy, you've got money coming in, you've got a house, you've got clients or whatever, but suddenly you feel empathetic towards the suffering of others. It can be very burdensome. So why are you here? Why are you here dealing with all that? Why bother? Your soul knows why. I listen to these near-death experience people. None of them want to come back. At first, they're like, I don't think so. This is so much better. It's like the experience of love that's like 1,000,000 times what we experience as love here on the planet. Even when you're blissed out on the planet, it's way different. These people that leave their body, right? The reason that they come back is because they're going to help us. That's why we're here to begin with, is to help other people. So what is it for you that makes it worth it to be here? I think it's more than just experiencing bliss, which would be, this is what we already have on the other side. Because there's other people, there's this sense of other people that's not there. We're individuated. What are you doing here? What does your soul say about that? So when we're asking this question, we want to be, quiet. We want to come to the present. This is not a marketing strategy. You can turn it into a marketing strategy. There's nothing wrong with that. But at first, it's a query between you and your soul. You, the conscious witness, and perhaps your higher self or your oversoul or something like that. You don't have to get too complicated about what exactly it is. All you have to do is get quiet and say, what's important to my soul? What makes me tick? And I promise you, it's the same with your ideal clients. Or you may not think of them as clients. It could be followers, they could be collectors, listeners, readers. It was just 2:22 a second ago. I saw it just like right before it turned to 2:23. I'm really loving those angel numbers lately. And here's the other part of this. So you're writing down, just write it down. If it comes to you, like what makes me tick? This. What's important to me about that? This. Go deeper. This, right? Start noticing what the words are that are coming out. Maybe highlight the words if you're writing this down. Those are your soul words. If you notice, you have words like, freedom, beauty, love, transformation, mystical, magical, creative, wild, natural, fun. Peace. Divine connection. Impact. Flow. You start noticing these words, I call them soul words. They're like little magnets for your tribe. When you use these words in your marketing, or any content that you're creating, the title of your blog post or whatever, when your people see those words, they're naturally drawn in. Just that word magic has attracted tens of thousands of people to me. It's wild. I started using the word magic in 2001. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, oh, yes, I use that word magic. I'm into magic. That's why I called you. If you're curious about what my shirt says, it says, "The job of the conscious is to make the unconscious conscious." So we're talking about becoming conscious about what it is. It's really at the core of who we are and why we're here on this planet. And then turning that into messaging. Turn that into the story, the soul story. What's your soul story? Share about why that's important to you. When did you realize that was important to you? How does that impact your life? I've been doing anthologies lately, and one of them is called The Moment I Said Yes, Stories of Soul-Led Trailblazers Turning Purpose into a Way of Life. When did you say yes to your purpose? I have another one, Wise Women Legacies, Hard-Won Truths the World Needs Now. You know, like I said, I feel like women know stuff that only their clients know. We ought to get this stuff into books in a more permanent form than a post or a website even. Books. Let's get those books out before the robots throw so many books out into the public that you can't even be found. Luckily for us, if you're sharing your soul, there are other people's guides that are leading them right to you. And so the more that you have things out there that make it easy for them to find you, that are totally authentic, then they can recognize you when they find you. This is going to be very helpful for you to grow your tribe with the right people. So what makes you and your perfect customers tick? What makes you and your soul tribe tick? Put it in the comments below. You never know who you might find here in the Spiritual Entrepreneur Collective. A friend, a colleague, a client. I'd love to hear from you. Please post in the comments. Next week we're going to be talking about, what do I want my perfect customers to expect from me? What do I want my soul tribe to expect from me? You know, that word expect has never been my favorite word, because I always thought somebody's expectation had nothing to do with what I wanted. Until I did the attraction plan and I realized I can identify what expectations I want people to have. I want them to expect that we're going to go right into their soul and pull out the most important expression that's going to attract their soul tribe. That's what I want. Right? What do you want? That's what we'll be talking about next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I really hope to hear from you. Go forth and attract.